Java di Lanaan. Today we are talking about Taiwan and Palau's travel bubble, but first we are going to show you the video that talks about the culture of Palau.
掌声欢迎帛琉的总统会述人阁下以及外交部长吴钊燮他们进会场。
台湾与帛琉从1999年建交至今，迈入第22年。多年来，两国保持经济建设、农业发展、观光和医疗等双边合作。今年4月1日，双方启动旅游泡泡，再次向外界宣示两国深厚的邦交关系。
在两国相关单位的努力之下，我们在3月17号共同宣布成立台帛旅游泡泡。会述人总统此次率团来访，意义非常的重大。除了开启见证我们双方第一个旅游泡泡的实现之外，也凸显了双方的防疫成就跟紧密的友好关系。这是两国关系的里程碑，也是全球疫情下两国友谊的最佳展现。
位在太平洋上的帛琉，拥有丰富海洋生态和自然景观，也是举世闻名的潜水天堂。全国人口大约2万人，有70%是密克罗尼西亚人，与台湾原住民族同属南岛语族。在过去几年，帛琉更是与台湾共同推动南岛民族论坛的重要伙伴，在显示台湾与帛琉密不可分的文化连结。
If you go back, our history as islanders, it's the ocean that connects us, and we know that our origins came from Taiwan and went throughout the Pacific. And I think these opportunities for us to get together just continue to strengthen and build that strong relationship that we've had from the past.
尽管实施阶段困难重重，但不可否认，这次的旅游泡泡确实已为台帛关系奠定重要根基。记者拉瑙林柏宏采访报道。
Okay, today we are very honored to have the ambassador of Republic of the Palau right next to me, and we are talking about the issues about travel bubble between Taiwan and Palau. So, Ambassador, could you please say hi to our audience first?
Ali, hello, good morning. Very happy to be here this morning.
Thank you. And as we know, Taiwan and Palau established diplomatic relations for 22 years.
Right.
And during these years, we keep the good friendship and partnership. And this year, March 17th, we launched the travel bubble and started from April 1st, right? And could you please introduce what exactly is travel bubble and what goals that needs to achieve during this program?
I think travel bubble discussion between Taiwan and Palau started way back in June last year. You know, our former president wanted to start the travel bubble.
Yes.
But because of long discussion between the two countries, the travel bubble didn't start until this year, April 1st, 2021.
Yes.
And it's basically an agreement between two countries that trust each other. I think that's a very important part of the travel bubble. People of Palau trust that Taiwan visitors to Palau will not bring COVID to Palau.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, we are still COVID-free until now.
Yes.
So since we closed our border in March 2020, Palau continue to charter flight to Taiwan every month. So it's been almost a year. Palau started to charter flight to Taiwan in April 2020. So to bring our patient to have medical treatment in Taiwan. And when they finish, they wait for the next flight to go home. So I think that has helped to build the trust among the people in Palau that people go to Taiwan and come back and they're not COVID. So that's why it's easy to have this trouble bubble between the two countries.
So is there any concrete achievement that what goals that you want to achieve? Like, we know that there's a lot of bilateral cooperation.
Right.
So is there any specific achievement that you want to achieve?
We really want to bring back visitors to Palau and to help bring back our economy. As you know, tourism is our #1 industry.
Yes.
So we used to get tourists from Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and Europe and US. But now, totally no tourists. So Palau is eager to start to bring tourists from Taiwan to help us bring our economy. And at the same time, we also know that 14 million Taiwanese go out of Taiwan every year to visit other places. So even just 1% of that 14 million would help us with our economy.
Okay, so I believe during the pandemic, this travel bubble has become the pioneering work in the Asia Pacific region, right? And in your opinion, what influences that might bring to both countries, even for the world?
I think it's probably the first travel bubble between two countries. And I know countries around the world will look at this travel bubble between Taiwan and Palau and maybe start their own travel bubble. But it's important to have faith and trust between the two countries. And that is already existing between Taiwan and Palau.
Yes.
So it's easy to do the travel bubble.
Yes. So so far, as you mentioned, Palau maintains 0 case of COVID-19. And for the local people, I'm very curious about for the local people, what do they think about this travel bubble?
I'm sure some people are still afraid that these flights from Taiwan will bring COVID to Palau. But so Palau is aware that they have to do it with to carefully do it, you know. So we have measures that are still in place. People need to be tested at the airport.
Yes.
So that is also very unique because only Palau requires passengers to be tested at the airport to really make sure that the safety is in place. They're tested negative before they board the flight. And that also help people in Palau not to worry too much.
Yes. So in April, the president of Palau mentioned during his visit to Taiwan, he mentioned that as islanders, it's ocean that connect us, right? And in fact, Palau had a lot of cooperation and exchanges with Taiwan indigenous peoples, right, during in the past. And this Austronesian culture plays an important role in this travel bubble?
Yes, to begin with, the Minister of Council of Indigenous Peoples of Taiwan, Minister Parel, really helped us with talking with other government officials to make the quarantine requirements to be less restrictive for Palau, people coming from Palau, because we have no COVID. I also tried my best to talk with Taiwan officials to lessen the quarantine days, instead of 14 to be like 7 days or even 5 days, because there's no COVID in Palau.
Yes.
And there was no sense of keeping passengers from Palau in hotel for 14 days. So, and we, comparing our cultures with the indigenous people, we have similarities in languages and our food. We eat a lot of fish.
Yes.
We eat taro, and then the council also have helped us strengthen our cultures and like dances and eating our food, using our language to speak and write. The office is also helping us. They helped us with our strengthening our tourism industry. Tourist officials from Palau would come and they would take them to visit the villages and what they do to attract the tourists to visit indigenous villages in Taiwan. So we learn a lot from them.
So during this travel bubble, as you mentioned, the cultural activities is included in the travel bubble?
Yes, there's a tour that goes into a village in Palau, and they see the traditional meeting places for the chiefs, and then they eat the local food.
Yes.
All local food.
Amazing. Okay, so in the travel bubble, what do you think, what roles does Palauan plays, and how do they retain the autonomy in the travel bubble? In the tourism industry, I mean.
So Palau is trying to attract visitors to Palau to visit villages, and also rent the boat from Palawan people who own boats, instead of just staying at Taiwanese hotel, eating Taiwanese food, and go in the hotel boat to the Rock Islands. So Palau is also trying to get its share of the pie, you know. Like
share the pie. Okay.
With the Taiwanese hotel, and because when the tourists go, they stay at Taiwanese hotel and they eat Taiwanese food. I think they need to eat the Palau food and also share go to the stores and spend their money, so Palau can benefit also.
So you encourage them to try the traditional food in Palau? Yes. Okay, so there's a question. Since April 1st, many Taiwanese tourists successively visit Palau. However, except for the first group, the number of tourists is not expected, right? It's not expected in the following flight. So, and the travel agency point out that the expensive prices and strict prevention regulations are the reasons that decrease people's willingness to travel.
That's true.
So, in your opinion, how can we do to maintain this bubble?
I think already the restrictions of returning visitors to Palau, coming back home, is already eased. Like they don't need to isolate at home for 5 days.
Yes.
They can go to the public place as long as they wear a mask. So I think then the future flight will have more visitors. And I also know that the cost of the flight has been reduced, and then it is anticipated that 2 more airlines will be added to China Airlines flying to Palau, so that will definitely bring the cost down, and then more people will be interested in going, especially with the no quarantine coming back.
Okay, so are there any reminders that you want to share with all these Taiwanese friends, Taiwanese tourists who are about to visit Palau?
Yes, I want to say I welcome everybody to Palau, to visit Palau, but also I would want to remind every visitors to help us keep our ocean clean and our environment clean.
Just like as we know that the Palau Pledge is about to celebrate the 3 years anniversary, right? So could you just tell us more detail about Palau Pledge?
I believe Palau Pledge is a very unique reminder to visitors to Palau that we want to keep our ocean and our land pollution free, and by signing the pledge, it will remind all the visitors first thing that they arrive in Palau, they'll be reminded that we want them to enjoy, but at the same time help us keep our environment clean and remain for our future generations.
That's really amazing. Okay, thank you for sharing today, and we hope that the travel bubble can continue, and so that more people can explore the beautiful culture of Palau. So in the ending, please, Ambassador, can say goodbye to our audience.
Thank you for having me, and I would like to say something in my own language. Kumal msulang rogoy, eng mal lungilarngo kal mga tador kami relal tuta. I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you.
And this is very important to share with people in Taiwan what this bubble travel is all about, and that Palau eagerly welcomes everyone to visit Palau. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we will take a break and back to the show.